welcome to the Chicago Superfans show. I'm Walter Swirsky with my co-host
Walter Sawinski.
Walter Wolarski. Bill Swirsky, your usual host, and Carl Wolarski, your co-host, can't be here today because they had heart attacks. I am Bill's son. He's Carl's son. We're both named Walter. Walter, why are we both named Walter?
After the great Walter Payton.
Walter Payton, the Bears. Greatest running back in NFL history. Today, on today's show, we gotta stop the music, the Bears song. Sorry, didn't get to finish it. Oh, first off, I want to show you my Bears clock, signed by Hall of Famer Mike Ditka. The Bears.
No.
Bears. That's great. Okay, today, on today's show, we have Bears historian Winston Simon to talk about what else? The Bears. Walter, where were you? Okay, Winston Simon, you claim to be an expert on the Bears.
The Bears.
Si, senor. Now, can you please tell us about the Bears? And you actually claim they weren't always called the Bears.
How were they not called the Bears?
The Bears.
The Bears were created in 1926. The Bears played in Wrigley Field until 1970. The Bears are one of the oldest, most important teams in the history of professional football. Some of the greatest players and coaches of all time have been on the Bears. The Bears have won more games than any other team in the NFL. The Bears have the nickname the Monsters of the Midway because of their defense.
Oh, really?
So, when weren't they called the Bears? You didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
Well,
You
the
didn't
Bears,
answer the question.
when A.E. Staley got the Bears, he named them the Staleys for his last name. And then when he gave them to George Halas and they moved to Chicago, George Halas named them the Chicago Bears.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that they were never called the Bears.
Yeah, same here. The Staleys.
Walter, do you have a question for noted Bears historian Winston Simon?
Yes. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the man, Red Grange.
Well, George Halas knew that they were missing a superstar in football and missing a legend. Baseball had Babe Ruth. Boxing had Jack Dempsey. Halas knew where to find one. Red Grange was the superstar in college football, so Halas signed Red Grange. When Grange signed, the Bears went on 2 cross-country tours, playing games all over the country because America wanted to see Red Grange play. The Bears played for over 300,000 people, which doesn't sound like a lot, but was a lot in the NFL back in the day. Halas decided there should be a championship game in 1932. At the Chicago Stadium, the Bears won the 1939 championship.
The Bears.
Halas signed the Jewish quarterback Sid Luckman to run a new offense formation, the T formation, where players would go in motion. In 1940, the Bears beat the Redskins 73-0.
The Bears.
In the championship. The Bears' biggest rivals are the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, the Packers. That gives me heartburn to hear even that name.
I threw up a little in my mouth.
us about the history of the Bears, Winston.
Gale Sayers played from 1965 to 1971. His nickname was the Kansas Comet. He holds the record for most touchdowns in a season by a rookie with 22. His positions were running back and kick returner. He won the Rookie of the Year award in 1965. He is tied for the most touchdowns in a game, which is 6 touchdowns in a game. His career was cut short because of knee injuries. Dick Butkus played from 1965 to 1973. He was one of the most feared and intimidating linebackers of all time. Dick Butkus had the speed to make tackles from sideline to sideline. For 8 straight years, Butkus led the Bears in tackles, averaging 120 tackles and 58 assists a season. Bronco Nagurski played from 1930 to 1937 and then stopped and played again in 1943. At 6 feet and 2 inches and 235 pounds, he was a dominant force in the NFL from 1930 to 1937. He was probably the largest running back of his time. He is the only player to be named All-Pro at 3 non-kicking positions. He played running back, defensive line, and offensive line. Mike Singletary played from 1981 to 1992. His nickname was Samurai Mike. He was the middle linebacker and the leader of the Bears defense. He started 172 games for the Bears, which is the second most in Bears history. Bulldog Turner played from 1940 to 1952. He was a All-Pro center and a linebacker. In 1942, he led the league in 8 interceptions. On offense, Turner could play center, tackle, or guard. Dan Hampton played from 1979 to 1990. His nickname is Danimo. He played defensive tackle for 12 years. He was an All-Pro tackle and defensive end. Walter Payton played from 1975 to 1987. Walter Payton's number is 34. He has the nickname Sweetness. Walter Payton was the best running back of all time. Walter Payton broke 26 records. Walter played 13 years and only missed 1 game. Walter held the record for the most rushing yards in a game for 23 years. His 8 touchdown passes is a record for non-quarterbacks. And that's the history of the Chicago Bears.
The Bears! Well, looking at the Ditka clock, it appears that Winston Simon took up all the time on the show, and that's all the time we got. So, for Walter Wolarski, I'm Walter Swirsky. We're the Chicago Superfans, and that's it for this week's show.
The Bears!
The Bears.